Hey YouTubers, just got my starter kit in the mail from Legion Solar. This was a Kickstarter for the Gen 2, Gen 3, is it Gen 3? The Gen 3 models. I already had got the expansion sets, those shipped first, but waiting for the starter kits took a little longer. They said it was customs issues or, waiting to get it off the boat from China. But I just, FedEx, these came FedEx, just got them dropped off from the FedEx driver. And it looks like it's packed basically the same as the expansion kits, which were just the micro inverters and the panels. And this looks to be all but the same. This is the starter kit, so two 150 watt panels. And let's see, let me set this to the side here. And looks like there's the boxes. So let's take a look-see here. This should have the controller itself in it. This says, okay. And here we go. Starter set, quick start guide. So it has color printouts on regular, like cotton paper. And okay, here's the Legion Solar instruction manual. This looks to be the same that you can get in a PDF off their website as well. So if you lose it, you can always go to their website and print another one out. And then, here's one of the micro inverters. Just like in the website, or the images on the website. Cable or antenna, cabling. And this must be the, bring a scissors out here. Here we go. Here's the meat. The meat of it. Yeah, here we are, the solar regulator. This is the important piece, really. Makes the magic happen. Which, did I didn't bring any scissors out with me, did I? Okay. Whoop. There we go. And this now communicates to the inverters wirelessly. I think the older generations, they used power line adapters or power over Ethernet, something like that. And then they went full wireless, which is nice. The thing is really lightweight. It's mostly just a plastic shell. But there it is. Two-prong power cord. Alright. And here is here's the things you put over your power lines, monitors. What is all this stuff here? More screw, brackets. There's the brackets. I thought this thing was supposed to come with some mounting stuff to mount it like on the roof, but I don't see any. I mean, like the metal mounting brackets for the roof. I guess you have to order those separately. I thought some came with it. So here's part of Legion Solar's, I guess, magic, you would say. The part of the brains of what makes the Legion Solar unique is their micro inverter. So as you can see, I mean, basically it looks similar to just about any other micro solar panel micro inverter that you see for sale. The difference here being this thing actually has its own Wi-Fi. So basically the idea is that each micro inverter talks wirelessly to the solar regulator. And the solar regulator tells the microinverter how much power to generate. Because the whole advantage to Legion Solar is the fact that you're never pushing energy back into the grid. And the way that this accomplishes it is by wirelessly talking to the microinverters and making sure that the total amount of power generation never exceeds your usage. But beyond that, I mean, we basically have your typical 150 watt solar panels. They're branded with Legion Solar's PLX devices names on everything. But for the most part, the panels themselves look like just regular old generic solar panels. And the microinverter, if you take out the wireless part of it, looks just like a regular microinverter. So when you buy I think they sell them as 300 watt sets, expansion sets, you get one microinverter and two 150 watt panels and a T-harness. So you can see here that this is kind of like what it looks like assembled. If you've seen Legion Solar's videos, I'm sure you're familiar with how they're configured and set up. But here I have, let me move this panel over next to it. So here we go. You can see side by side. Basically, this would be what an expansion set is when you get them. Well, I should do these videos when the sun is shining, shouldn't I? But there's what you're looking at, basically. And so you connect these together. I already, they come with the panels or the cables loose, already attached to the panel, just like your typical 150 watt solar panel. However, the short cable goes into the negative on the microinverter. Then the long cable connects to the short cable on its companion panel. Using these standard I believe these are MC4 connectors. And then the short cable from the secondary panel connects to the positive on the microinverter. So there's basically our loop. And then you just duplicate that. Every expansion set, you just wire it up exactly the same way and set them beside each other. And the wireless connectivity is the real advantage here, and that takes care of all the heavy lifting for you. Now, to string all these panels together, you do need, let me see here, a T-harness. Okay, and this is the Legion Solar T-harness. So the smaller cable, which takes less amperage here, the smaller end of the cable, this is what fits directly into the microinverter. So this screws in here. It only fits one way. It's got 3 pins. You screw this down, and then that's basically what you have there. And that's what's going to transmit the power from the microinverter to your power line, whatever it is, an outlet, whatever it may be that you wind up using. So, and then you just daisy chain these together, these T-harnesses, right? So the end of the T-harness here, this T-harness plugs into another T-harness, and then then this T-harness connects to another set of panels, and on you go, right? And the nice advantage here to the Legion Solar is it's kind of plug and play. They've really made it with the end consumer in mind, so it's very easy. You just plug stuff together, tighten everything up, plug it into your outlet, or if you're doing a more permanent wiring solution, then plug it into that. But that's all there really is to it. I mean, that's the brains of this setup and what makes it so easy. I mean, if you've done any research into like home solar, you'll see that this really isn't a new concept, in that you can buy a inverter. I don't think I've seen the micro inverters with limiters, but you can get a regular full-sized limiter from, like, I know they make them, I see everyone I've seen is made in China, right? But it does this same idea where it limits the amount of power being generated by your panels so it never exceeds your usage. That way you're never pushing any energy into the grid. And so really what they did was they took that idea and made it smarter and easier for the end consumer with the wireless, the future seems to be microinverters rather than one giant inverter, at least for do-it-yourself home setups. So this just kind of takes that idea to the next level. And then each set of panels, of course, like I said, it will be a wireless connection to your solar regulator. So one thing to keep in mind is it does have to be within wireless range of the regulator in order to communicate. Because if there's no communication, then the microinverter will stop generating power. Also, this does support anti-islanding. In other words, if you have a power failure in your home and the grid goes down, then the microinverters stop generating electricity. So what that really means is this is kind of considered like an off-grid solution with on-grid benefits, I think is what Legion Solar sells it as. But if the grid is down, then you're not generating any power. So unless you have like a battery commander or an off-grid unit that they sell, when the grid goes down, so does your panel generation. So this is a quick look at just the panels, the microinverter, and the basic setup idea. And let's take a look at the actual regulator next. Okay, here's a look at the actual solar regulator. I guess this could be considered kind of the brains of the operation. You can see it's got multiple flashing lights. Here's your Wi-Fi antennas. It's got two of them, kind of like a little mini router almost. And these two plugs here run to the legs coming into the breaker box. These cables here are what is monitoring my usage. And now the only way, I guess if I had a complaint, it's that yes, the panels talk to the regulator via Wi-Fi, but when you want to talk to the regulator using the phone app, it's Bluetooth. So since it's Bluetooth, you're range limited. You can't connect this thing to your home router and have apps on various devices that could talk to it over your network. You cannot check the usage outside of if you're out of range, Bluetooth range, then that's it. There's nothing for you to do. You can't go on the internet, log in and check it. So I'm hoping what they might come out with would be a Bluetooth to Wi-Fi bridge, which I have the Ultralock thumbprint door lock, and they released a Bluetooth to Wi-Fi bridge, which allows the door lock to connect to my Wi-Fi network, which gives me outside access, or I can use it outside the home, which is very handy. I put in a request to Legion Solar to see if they could come up with something similar, because I'd love if this was like an open platform, like an open API, where I could even write my own apps or my own scripts to talk to the regulator myself for data dumps, things like that. Looking at these lights, the first light, the green one, is your power light. The blue light is your Bluetooth light. And then the two on the end, this is transmitting data, receiving data. I'm not sure what the center green one is. I'd have to look it up in the manual. It's flickering, so it's probably some sort of updating or communication light of some sort. But you can see I have this mounted up high. I'm down in my basement, and this is basically just a laundry room. But the breaker box is down here, and I mounted it up high up on the ceiling to decrease the distance between the regulator and the microinverters on the panel up on the roof. So you can see there, I just put a nail in the wall, hung it up there, ran the wires up through the ceiling. One wire's the power, and the other two, like I said, these are the usage monitoring legs. Let let me see if I can't, which is right in here. Let's see. Well, actually, you're not going to, maybe I should have left the breaker box open. I don't know if you can see these two dangling wires here coming out of the top of the breaker box. Those go in, and it's got the two the clamps. They clamp on the two legs in the breaker box. And then the wires, I just fed them up through the ceiling and then into the solar regulator. So when you're using the app, the app does let you monitor your own home usage, as well as how much each microinverter is creating. So, and then it gives you a historical usage, so you can go back and see like how much power I made throughout the day, by month, by year. I'll show some images of the Legion Solar app when I can. I've been kind of waiting because the Legion Solar app has not supported Android 9. But they just told me today they're rolling out an update to the Play Store to support Android 9, so I'll be able to use my more advanced phone, because currently I've been using a real low-end, crappy blue phone just to get everything set up and working. But everything does work okay. I've had no issues so far. It's all as advertised. Okay, I'm back up here at the panels. A couple things I wanted to mention that I forgot to was one, okay, so your standard installation, if you're just doing this as a small setup residential, see, on the end of these T-harnesses, to actually feed the power, which I guess I haven't even mentioned yet really, is this little connector here, which basically lets the T-harness connect into a standard outlet, 110 volt outlet. Where in the heck? Oh, there we go. I'm unscrewing the wrong thing. You would think these are idiot proof, but there we go. So see, here's the, like, say after we've daisy chained all the panels together, here's the end of the T-harness. Here's your standard basic, your 3-pin T-harness to standard 110 volt outlet connection. And basically this is going to feed power right into your home's electrical grid. I guess you want to call it that, your internal home, this side of the breaker box. And basically if you look through the manual, it gives you the electrical breakdown of what outlets you can plug it in. If you can, the best thing to do is to use an outlet that has nothing else on it. Basically a dedicated outlet just for your solar, if you can do it. Now I had, which worked out for me because I had an outdoor outlet that has nothing on it actually has nothing on it at all. So I was able to plug directly in that. But of course you're going to be limited to the amperage that this connector can handle, which I think is 15 amps. Your standard electrical, does it say on here? It is UL certified plug, of course. It doesn't list the amperage on the thing, I don't see it, but 15 amps is what you're looking at, I'm pretty sure, out of this connector. So if you want more than 15 amps of power coming in, then you would have to do a more permanent, a heavier duty gauge wire, because this thing just is only going to hold so much. But to get started, it's easy. You just hook this up, plug it in, away you go. It's that simple. There. Which it looks like I wound up unscrewing this a little bit. Let me tighten this all back up. There we go. So now that's how you plug it in. Oh shoot, let me grab my phone. So let's take a step outside here, because I haven't actually fully mounted these yet. Here I've got 3 of the panels set up that I got these mounting kits online from, I forget the name of the company, Renology. I got them on Amazon. They're 4 mounting panels at an angle. They seem like they're going to do the job. I think that's what I'll wind up using. I have a flat roof that I'm going to mount them on. So I think I just have them set up here kind of to get a feel and a look for how they will be, and then I'll bolt them down onto the roof, and I should be all set. I've tested out everything, hooked everything up. I just haven't done a full mounting of everything yet to get it a more permanent installation. It's kind of just been sitting up on my deck here while I play around with it. Let me see, is there anything else I should cover? Yeah, I'll put link under the video for the mounts I'm using, just in case you're curious and want to take a look at them. But Legion Solar basically leaves it up to you. You can do whatever kind of mounting you want. They sell a rail kit for like your standard roof pitch angle, you know, a long metal bar that they clamp down to, more like a standard solar installation. On their website, and they've got mounting options for clay, asphalt roofs, metal roofs. If you've got a roof, then they've got something that'll fit the bill. But I got these mounts because they were cheap and they let me do it the way I wanted to do it. So that's still my plan, to do it that way. And I've been happy with everything so far. I have no complaints. I guess the only other thing I haven't shown off is the app itself. Let me grab that cheapo phone I've got and pull up the app. Here's this cheap phone I've got right now, since I'm waiting on the fix for Android 9. Oh, crapper. Where is the... There it is. Okay, here's a look at the app. Hope the lighting is okay. Okay. Let me go to home here. So right now I don't have any of the panels hooked up. So you can see current production is 0 watts. And there's you can see home consumption and grid consumption. So whatever your home consumption is minus your current production gives you your grid consumption. And I have not had anything hooked up today because I've been, playing around with mounting stuff. But the home screen, the home tab, this is everything it shows you. Current production, home consumption, grid consumption. If you have their battery chargers, you can see how much wattage you're pushing into the batteries. Energy produced just shows you how much energy is the in watt hours or the panels producing, and then there's your energy value. It also shows you your local conditions, temperature, the number of hours of sun and cloud coverage, although for me that has not been working. The location is either completely wrong or the data just doesn't seem to update, but that's a small complaint. Then the next tab here, production, this just shows you production stuff, does not show anything about your grid consumption usage or anything like that. And this here you can see what your current production is in today's peak, which, like I said, right now I don't have anything hooked up, but you can go backwards in time. See, here's previous days where I did have the panels hooked up, at least some of them. And this is a day view. You can go to a month view. This phone is really, I'm going to blame the phone rather than the app. Okay, oh, it already went there, because there you can see my monthly usage, which is mostly me just playing around getting everything set up. Then there's a year usage, which you can see an entire year worth of data, which... There we go. I think it's gonna listen. Okay, so let's move to the next tab, health. This is where you see all your microinverters, right? I have 4 microinverters, 2 panels per microinverter, so 8 panels total. And it'll show you how much each microinverter is producing, potential, amperage, the temperature. I think these microinverters must have their own thermometer inside of some sort, because it does report on a temperature. This is all old data though, because I don't have them hooked up right now. I think it's whatever it was last time it was able to communicate to it. And the red, from what I take, is green means the inverter is online and producing power. Red means it is not. Although that's been a little shaky as far as the status goes. I don't know if it's just wireless interference or something, or how often it updates, but when I've gone in here, it doesn't update this information as quickly as like the production tab or the home tab does. This thing might be complaining because I'm not powered, I don't have anything on. Come on, phone. Okay, there we go. Now here's the setup tab. Here's where you can set things like your temperature units, your cost per kilowatt. As of this version of the app, it's 25 cents, and you can go in here and change it, but changing it doesn't seem to do anything because it immediately just as soon as I relaunch the app, it immediately reverts back to 25 cents per kilowatt hour. Here's where your inverter battery commander controller is. This is where you can go into here, and there's warnings in here. Most of this is for troubleshooting. You're not going to be using most of these options in your day-to-day usage, so I won't go into that. As you buy expansion sets, you set up your inverter battery commander. The only problem, I mean, one of the negatives, I guess, is as you expand the system, you have to reset it up from scratch every time you expand the system. So, and as you can see here, when you're setting up the system for the first time, you only want to perform this during peak sun time between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. I don't know if you guys can make out what that white box is saying at all. It might be blurred out because this camera's not great, so I apologize for that. But that's what it's saying. And because it has to go through a calibration where I guess it measures the power coming into the house and then measures the inverter power, and it configures everything properly. So, and then under more, this is just your about, your feedback, what version of the app you're running, etc. So that's a quick look at the overall app itself. But to keep in mind, yes, since it's Bluetooth, actually I'm surprised this thing is reporting consumption this far away, because I'm not on the other side of the house kind of from the Bluetooth, from the solar regulator. But that's probably why it's taking so long to load, and it's not updating very quickly because of that. So everything works great as advertised, but having your communication to your phone be over Bluetooth is an annoyance, because you have to be within range of the regulator, and you can't, I'd like the ability to sit down at my computer, use a Windows 10 UWP app or something like that, pull it up at my desktop, and here's my usage, here's my power generation. So, and unfortunately, as it sits now, you cannot do that. Because I like to sit there and, I like the ability to be able to get that data when I want. And you can't really do that from a distance yet. So that's a quick look at the app, but everything works as advertised. Like I said, I'm sure they do seem responsive. Legion Solar, their customer service is really good. They always respond quickly, even on Facebook. And they continue to release updates to the app, so I'm hoping to continue to see improvements, and especially if they would open up the regulator so it has its own API that we could use. But yeah, this has just been a quick look at everything. It all works as advertised. Thanks.